So yeah, I went skiing in Banff for my birthday. Happy birthday to me! And went skiing one day at Mount Norquay with my boyfriend Johnny, and that was good. We had a great time. And then we went to Lake Louise skiing, which is where I fell. I should say I am a skier, I can ski. I'm intermediate, so I'd say I'm most comfortable on blues rather than the black slopes. But I love a good blue slope, which is exactly where this took place. I don't really know why I fell, so I'm just waiting for surgery here, so I'm sort of expecting the surgeon to pop at the door. I don't really know what happened and why I fell. I had rented a shorter pair of skis than I usually would because I heard that they help you turn with more precision, and I hadn't quite got used to them yet, but I went straight to the top of the mountain and skied down what was a green and then a blue run, so it should have been absolutely fine. But again, I just didn't quite feel super settled on my skis. I don't even know if that's it. I think it was just bad luck. Took a bad turn, and I don't know if you're a skier, but if you take a bad turn when you're skiing, you can turn upwards, which means you're gonna fall over. So I fell over, but then my skis didn't unclip and I sort of got javelined into the air, and then spectacularly fell down and ripped my ski jumpsuit, which is devastating because I like my ski jumpsuit. I heard my knee pop when I was falling, but I still didn't really realise how bad it was. So I obviously fell over, my skis didn't unclip, my boyfriend came up behind me because he'd been snowboarding behind me to ask if I was okay, and I asked him if he could unclip my skis or help me unclip my skis for me so I could sort of survey the damage. Again, I didn't really realise I was that hurt because people fall over skiing all the time, including me, because I'm very clumsy. And so we unclipped the skis. I tried to stand up on my leg but realised I couldn't put any weight on it, which meant I knew I couldn't ski down the rest of the mountain. So then, I do have footage.
I have never ever hurt myself skiing before, I just want you to know.
What's the most, where would you rate your pain? Kind of 10 being the
No,
worst
I
pain?
always had like 4. Bye babe!
Bye Rebecca!
See you next time!
This is fun.
Thank you!
No problem.
Mountain rescue had to come and take me down. And again, at this point, I didn't really realise how serious it was. When I got down the mountain, gracefully, artfully, also I should say, going down the mountain in one of those, some of my friends call it the blood wagon, which is a bit grim, in the toboggan, the medical toboggan, is not a fun ride because you get snow in your face as you're lying down, although that was the least of my concerns. But just saying, if you're ever tired and you think that one of these can take you down the mountain, like don't, because you're gonna get a snowy face, plus also that for rescuing idiots that fall over like me. Anyway, in the little medical hut, they didn't think anything was broken because I could still wiggle my toes, but they advised that I went to the hospital. I didn't want to ruin my friend's day, so I just asked if they could like carry me to the bar and then let them keep on skiing. So yeah, they kept on skiing and snowboarding because I demanded that they did, and I sat in the bar having drinks, but only later in the day did I realise how excruciating the pain was. I feel like the tequila helped at the beginning. But the nearest hospital was an hour away in Banff, and we were going to Banff the next day, so it didn't feel fair to ask my friend to drive me to Banff and then drive me back, only for me to go the next day. So I just thought, oh, do you know what, I'll hold off and go the next day. That's what I did. That evening, I had some delicious ramen at a lodge in Field called Truffle Pigs, and even though I was in pain, I was like, yeah, food, delicious. That night was really difficult to sleep because I was trying to keep my leg straight. I was in bed, obviously sharing a bed with my boyfriend, and yeah, it just real, like a pain I haven't kind of felt before. I have broken bones. When I was younger, I had a car accident, which some of you might know about. So I sort of remember that, but it was such a long time ago and I was really out of it at the time that I didn't really remember how a broken bone felt. And again, at this point, I didn't think it was broken. So the next morning we drove to Banff Hospital, and my boyfriend Johnny wasn't allowed to come in with me because 'tis the season of Rona. And So I had to go in myself and hobbled in on the crutches that they'd given me at the ski hill, which were a bit short. I didn't have to wait very long in Banff Hospital. I got seen quite soon and they x-rayed my knee to tell me that I have a Tibial Plateau Fracture, which is actually quite rare and very painful. And they were all surprised that I wasn't in more pain than I was. I think I'm quite good at, in pain respects, holding it together. So maybe I was underplaying it a little bit. I don't know. But yeah, fractured. Well, smashed up. The surgeon did this face when they saw the injury. So I got my leg put in a brace that I had to pay for, and then some crutches, and then they said I could have the surgery in Alberta or try and get back to Ontario where I live, where the recovery process is obviously going to be a bit more smooth because this is my province and I won't have to keep going back to Alberta for physio. So that's what happened there. That night, my boyfriend Johnny and I stayed in a hotel and we got room service because I really couldn't go anywhere. Like, he was having to carry me up and down even the smallest of stairs, if there were any stairs. Then the next day we had a flight back to Toronto, which was agony. I was able to get in a wheelchair at the airport so I was wheeled around, but on the flight I had my leg brace on and had to keep my leg straight, and we were just in economy and we couldn't upgrade. They wouldn't let us. They did give us a whole row to ourselves, so that was good. But yeah, keeping my leg straight on a 4-hour flight was real painful. And then we landed at 12:30 at night, and the next morning my friend Anthony drove me to hospital, which is where I am now. I have not left. That was 4 days ago. So I got admitted on the Thursday. I'm going to be showing you a few clips from my Instagram story as we go along, because I told all of this on Instagram because that's the platform that I'm using mostly, trying to give it a bit of a fun retelling. Not that I was having any fun. So anyway, I got to the hospital on Thursday and had to wait for a while to see the x-ray people, and I had another x-ray and a CT scan which basically confirmed that I've crushed my knee. I was then admitted to the hospital, but before I could be given a bed I had to swab my own anus, you heard me, for superbugs, which was a real highlight. Couldn't eat anything because there's potential for surgery, so I only had ice chips, and then they gave me a mandatory PCR screening for COVID. I was admitted, waiting in emergency for my surgery, when a doctor came round about 8 hours later to say that actually, despite having no symptoms, I had surprise COVID, just to add to the mix. Surprise COVID, which is a thing apparently. So Omicron is rampant, as we know, and I had somehow, maybe from the hospital in Banff, I don't know, contracted COVID without knowing it and was asymptomatic, which added some complications for the surgery. Or that's what I thought anyway. It turns out that actually a lot of people admitted to hospital at the moment with their mandatory PCR screenings turn out to have secret COVID like me. But it's just meant that even though visitors are limited at the moment because of coronavirus in everywhere, no one was able to come and visit. No one is able to come and visit me. So it's been a lonely time. Like I said, I have been in hospital for 4 days now. I can't. The cycle of every day is that I am on standby for surgery, which means I can't eat. So for most of the hours of the day, I am fasted. And then if the surgery gets cancelled, then I'm allowed to eat. On the first night that happened at 11:15, so I was allowed to eat for 45 minutes before midnight, before the process started again, and I was starved again. And then luckily on the second day, that was at 8:30, so I had a bit more time. And yesterday that was at 8. But basically I spent all of the day feeling real woozy because I want to eat and I can't. And then if there's good news and I can eat, it means it's bad news because I haven't been able to have the surgery. So yeah, it has been nearly a week since I washed my hair. So what I've done is I've lightly wet it by standing on one foot by the sink, and I've gone for a bit of a French braid situation. hoping that in my sleep, it'll make like a nice loose wave that is hospital hair styling for you. I'm sure you'd all love me to do this again. I've just got the news that they are going to take me down to surgery now, which is what we've been waiting for, so this is very good. Sort of run out of joking things to say, because actually in truth I'm a tiny wee bit scared, but just gonna have to up and done with it, because this is the next step to my recovery, and I'm excited, and I can see my friends and boyfriend again and eat again after this, so wish me luck.